Welcome in, Jeremy Popielarz here with you as always. It is week 3. I'm slightly under the weather. If you sound a little muffled, it's not your microphone, it's me. Getting over a little bit of a cold, so little sniffles here or there, but I'm here with you. We're gonna get through this here. Week 3 starts sits to go ahead and kind of get yourself that victory here in week 3. Some of us are probably started 0-2. I have plenty of those teams. A lot of teams 1-1, etc. Either way, week 3, we want to get those wins. So I'm here with you as always to go ahead and answer those tough start sit questions that we have. If you have not already, you can head on over to YouTube if you're not watching there. Drop the questions in there. Go ahead. I can pull those up. Also, feel free to drop the questions on Twitter if that is where you're checking that out. I guess it's X nowadays, right? Whatever. Same thing. Twitter, X, who knows? But go ahead and drop the questions in there and I will pull them up here and get them answered. Other than that, let's get started here. We're going to go ahead and push through and go ahead and get some of these questions started here for week 3. I feel like it's going to be one of those weeks that we have plethora of interesting ones, a lot of injuries to note here with a lot of those star players going down. And it seems like it's a lot of receivers this year so far, at least. So sure, we're going to have some of those. But the first question I got over here is from Kevin Wheeler here on X. Is Carr, Prescott, or Mayfield? And I'm going Derek Carr here. I'm gonna ride the train that we have seen here from Derek Carr the past few weeks. He's just been dicing and shredding defenses left and right. The Philadelphia Eagles are not a very tough matchup, let's put it that way, especially if you are a quarterback. They have a weak secondary that you can easily go ahead and shred. And Derek Carr, I think, and with Kubiak at the offensive helm, I think we're going to see a lot of what we've seen the past 2 weeks here from Derek Carr and the Saints on the offensive side of the ball. So I'm not too worried. Definitely going to be firing up Derek Carr here. It is close between those three, so I understand the question there, Kevin, but still going to roll with Derek Carr. I have him actually as a top 10 quarterback this week. I think that he gets us to those top 10 type of numbers. Let's see here. We got a kicker question. Koo or Carlson or Grupe? I'm probably going to go Daniel Carlson there with the Raiders for that one. Zakia here on X. Need 2 to flex in full PPR. Jerry Jeudy, Cam Akers, Quentin Johnson, Jawan Jennings, and Carson Steele. Also considering sitting Waddle at wide receiver since 2 is out. Lost Cup, so playing Robinson as the other wide receiver. Not many options if I sit Waddle other than these above. I like Jerry Jeudy today. So I would probably lean Jeudy there, Zakita. It's a good matchup against the Giants secondary, and he's been solid. So I don't think he's going to really burn you. Quentin Johnston's interesting, but with the questions around Justin Herbert's ankle, I'm probably not dipping in there. I'm probably going to go Jeudy and Akers. Akers, it's a spot start. It's going to be a tough matchup against Minnesota. They have been pretty lights out on the defensive side of the ball at the moment. But he's going to get some volume. It's really just kind of him and Derek Gumawale. So I'm going to probably roll Akers and Jeudy in this situation. I'm not ready to deem Carson Steele the guy in Kansas City. Samaje Perine, I think, can kind of hold off and probably see some usage as well. So I think that's a little bit more of a split, as well as Courtney Ingram. He's decent, not crazy, but he got elevated as well from the practice squad. So, like, it could just be a really kind of mess of hot handedness in Kansas City. So I'm going to wait and see how that breaks out there. But I'm probably going to roll Jeudy and Cam Akers here for you at the moment. And I would probably start Waddle over the rest of those guys that you have listed there. All righty. We got Chris here. PPR flex, Jerome Ford or Khalil Shakir. I'm going to go Shakir. It's not fancy. Like, he's not going to get you a plethora of points. It's not really an upside play there with Khalil Shakir, but he's been steady for the Bills thus far. I do think he probably finds the end zone here on Monday night. Jerome Ford, the question is really with Deontay Foreman. Unless Ford gets in the end zone, like all the touches and usage between the 20s is great, but not really fantasy greatness. So I'm going to roll with Khalil Shakir. I think has a little bit more upside in that there for you, Chris. We got Rudy checking in. We got Swift or Singletary. I'm going to go DeAndre Swift. It's a plus matchup this week. The Colts have allowed 200+ yard rushers the past 2 weeks. I think DeAndre Swift could be in store for, I don't know if it's 100 yards, but I do think that he has one of his better days thus far in the last 3 weeks. Devin Singletary up against the Browns. Not really my cup of tea personally. He's also got Deontay Johnson or Jerry Jeudy. So this is where it gets a little interesting. They're both pretty close. I'm probably going to go Deontay Johnson. I think Andy Dalton helps this offense a little bit. The Raiders, solid defense, but they've been a little underwhelming in the first few weeks here. I think that we see this offense just click a little bit more and move the ball a little bit more. In turn, Deontay Johnson, we'll see a little bit more uptick here in the usage. So I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson there over Jerry Jeudy, but it is very close, Rudy. And then he's got Anthony Richardson or Baker. I'm going to still roll out Richardson. Let me double check that. It might be Baker for me. They're both really close. Yeah, I have Richardson one spot ahead of Baker, so I'd probably go either direction there with you, Rudy. I'm going to lead Baker. I'm going to go with the easier matchup. I'll go Baker. Let's see here. Pick 2, T. Higgins, Jerome Ford, Pickens, or Brian Robinson. So Robinson for sure here is a start for me this week against a pretty weak. No, they're not super weak, but they haven't been the best against Cincinnati there. I think that Robinson has a good enough workload to have a good outing this week. And I'd probably go Pickens there. Justin Fields is going to be obviously at the helm. They're getting the Chargers. If the Chargers don't have Justin Herbert, that could be a situation where we see a little bit more towards the Najee Harris, Jalen Warren type of category. But I do still think George Pickens could find the end zone here. I'm holding off on T. Higgins for a week until we kind of see it. Coming off of that injury, could be a little bit of a management type of situation that we're in, unless the Commanders come out firing and can keep pace here with the Bengals, then maybe Higgins gets involved a little bit more. But I'm leaning towards sitting T. Higgins for now. I have him like as a wide receiver 3. So it's there, but I have Pickens ahead of him, and Brian Robinson would be well ahead of him in a flex ranking as well. David, what's up? How are you doing? Let's see here. Half PPR, need to choose 2 wide receivers and a flex out of the following: DK, Tank Dell, T. Higgins, JSN, J.K. Dobbins, and Jerome Ford. So I'd go JSN and DK probably. I know it's 2 Seahawks, and we don't necessarily love to double dip like that, but I'm probably still rolling DK and JSN out of this group. I think Tank Dell could have a tougher day. This Minnesota secondary has been pretty legit under Brian Flores, so I'm not expecting a huge day out of CJ Stroud and or this passing attack. So Dell, I think, could see a struggle there. T. Higgins as well. I just kind of mentioned where I'm not like rushing to the roster to start him in the situation coming off of this injury. So I'd probably go DK, JSN, and J.K. Dobbins there for you, David. I like Dobbins. I know it's a tough matchup against Pittsburgh, but I'm going to roll with the hot hand for now there in the Chargers backfield, especially without any Herbert. They're going to have to lean on this run game if Herbert doesn't play. Still a game time decision. Good morning, Jake. Half PPR in flex. Would you roll Rashid Shaheed or Josh Jacobs? Been burned by 2 bad matchup losses. Yeah, I feel you. It's only week 2 though, Jake. We got some time here. It's a long road. We got plenty of weeks left to get the wins, but I feel you. As an 0-2 manager as well in a couple spots, I the pressure's on to at least get that first win. I'm still probably rolling Jacobs. The Titans defense has been pretty solid. Man, that's tough. I mean, Shaheed I have as like a top 24 option this week. I think that this Philly secondary is going to struggle. I have Derek Carr pretty high. Um, man, I know Jacobs, like you said here, safer floor. Does he get in the end zone, though, is the question if Malik Willis plays against a tough Titans team. Um, yeah, I'm probably going to go Shaheed, Jake. Go with Shaheed. Do it. Swing for the fences. It's only week 3. If we lose, we got plenty more weeks to go. But I think if you're really shooting for the fences, go Rashid Shaheed. I think that he's feels pretty safe, at least at this point. In the past, he's been kind of a boomer bust guy, but the last few weeks and the way this offense is built, Shaheed's a good option, I think. Baseline junkies, Jaden Reed, Isovius, or Deontay at flex. I'm going to go with not Isovius, especially with T. Higgins likely playing. Less intrigued there anymore. Deontay Johnson's interesting. Just talked about him just a minute ago. I do think this offense is a little bit better this week, at least enough to give us some PPR production out of Deontay Johnson. So I'm probably going there. Jaden Reed, I do think it sounds more and more likely that it's Malik Willis as opposed to Jordan Love under center. So if we get that confirmation, it's Deontay Johnson. If Jordan Love is under center, then probably Jaden Reed. Tootsie Pop, what's up, Rachel? How are you doing? CJ Stroud or Mayfield today? I'm gonna go Baker. I really do think that CJ struggles here a little bit against this Minnesota secondary. Flores has been doing some pretty crazy things there. So I'm going to go with Baker Mayfield. I just think it's a little bit easier matchup against Denver. Obviously, Surtan's there, but after that, like Godwin and Jalen McMillan might eat a lot today. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Baker there over Stroud. I could be wrong, but don't think so. Nathan, what's up? Dobbins, Akers, Singletary, or Steele, full point PPR. I'm riding Dobbins. Is hot hand. I know it's a tough Pittsburgh secondary, but I do think that without Justin Herbert, they're going to have to lean on this run game. So I do think that Dobbins and Edwards see their run, and I'm going to go ahead and go with that. I think they'll be able to kind of put at bay the Steelers front and be able to kind of still do solid enough of a performance there from J.K. Dobbins to be a viable fantasy asset. You're welcome, Jake. Boom. Jacobs, Etienne, or Pollard, which two should I roll with? That's a good question. I would say, where are we at here? Etienne could struggle against the Bills. They have been pretty solid, but I still have Etienne at 15, so I'd probably go with Jacobs and Etienne here. Would probably be my two here, Nathan. PPR sit 1, Akers, Waddle, or Demarcus Robinson. Ooh. Probably Waddle. No two is a big deterrent here for me with Jalen Waddle. Akers, I think, can have solid running back 2 numbers. I think that Demarcus Robinson can be kind of an impromptu good start there for you as a manager with no Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua. So I would go Akers and Robinson here. You are welcome, Nathan. Kill Herbert worth a stash before game time, or Chicago's offense too much of a mess? No, I think it's worth a stash. Depends who you're getting rid of, but I think that Khalil Herbert has kind of made himself pretty known as the running back 2 in that offense at this time. So I'd sit behind it. I think that Chicago's offense will get better. Just give it a little bit. I think they'll bounce back. So I'm all in for Khalil Herbert in case something does happen to DeAndre Swift. So we got Person on X, Amari Cooper, Carson Steele. I'm going to go Cooper here. Still a little lenient on starting Carson Steele right away. We got Pickens, Amari, Shakir, Akers start 2 in PPR. Goddard or Likely, and then Caleb or Deshaun. So, multi-point question here. I'm going to go Pickens and Shakir. And then Likely. And then Deshaun Watson for you there, Commissioner. I think it's a good spot for Deshaun Watson today. A little bit of a bounce back, hopefully, in that passing attack against the Giants. Brandon, Jordan Whittington, Michael Wilson, or Jalen Naylor. Ooh. It is PPR. See that below. Not really into the Whittington side of this. I mean, maybe. I mean, they're down to like nothing at receiver, but I think Demarcus Robinson, Tutu Atwell, etc., kind of probably make their way into this a little more than Jordan Whittington does. Naylor's interesting. Tough matchup, though, against a Houston secondary that's pretty strong. So I'd probably go Michael Wilson. I think that game's a little bit more of a shootout here, Brandon. So I might go Michael Wilson. A little bit on the touchdown dependency there, but I do think Michael Wilson could maybe find the end zone in that matchup against the Detroit Lions. You're welcome, Commissioner. Andrew Beliveau on X. PPR need one. Pittman, QJ, Shakir, Jennings. Sad to have Pittman in this situation at the moment. But I get it. Because dealing with an injury and then likely getting locked down by Jalen Johnson is not a positive sign for Michael Pittman at the moment. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Shakir here. Let's see here. Ellefson, Higgins, Dobbins, or Robinson Jr. That's gonna be Brian Robinson Jr. for me there. Bowers or Diggs at flex. Baseline, is it tight end premium by chance? If it's tight end premium, Bowers. If it's not, probably Diggs. I know I said it's going to be a tough matchup here for this offense. But you got that revenge game narrative there for Stephon Diggs against this Minnesota team. So I do think that we could see a little bit of hope there from Stephon Diggs. Bowers will get his, but I think Diggs has the higher ceiling, and I think they're probably comparable as far as a baseline goes. So I'd probably roll Diggs. Unless, like I said, tight end premium, then I'd go Brock Bowers because you're going to get a little bit extra per reception there from Bowers. All right. And again, apologize if you weren't here in the beginning. Getting over a cold here, so I'm a little stiff and I can't even say it, sniffly at the moment. So bear with me, but I will get to these questions here. All right. Trevor Herman here on X. Have Higgins and Pittman starting and Gibbs and Steelworth starting. Who to flex? Foreman, Judy, McConkey, Johnston, McLaughlin, Thielen. Interesting. Hmm. I'm gonna go Judy over Foreman. Here, Trevor. I like the matchup a little bit better for the receivers than the running backs. I know that your format says otherwise. But I do think that Jerry Judy, because Foreman's really going to kind of be maybe a red zone guy at this point in time. So I'm going to go with Judy there. I think that he potentially finds the end zone today. Dewey on X, White or Najee Harris. If it's Zamir, If it's Zamir White, then I would definitely go Zamir White over Najee Harris. But if it's Rashad White, I'd probably go Najee Harris at this point. White's obviously battling an injury, and we've seen some struggles from him already this season as far as an efficiency standards go. So I would probably lean towards Najee Harris in that situation. Trevor start one in flex, Zamir White, Carson Steele, Ty Chandler, Deontay Foreman, or JSN. I'm going to go JSN here for Trevor. Kanto, half PPR, who to start, Jordan Mason or Achane. Ooh, that's tough. I'm going to go Mason. I do like Devon Achane today, though. I think that he'll have a lot of check down PPR value, even more than he already has. But I would go Mason still. I think that run game is just a little bit better as far as a guy that has the full workload. I know Mozart's probably not playing, but Devon Achane, they may still see some Jalen Wright or Jeff Wilson if either of them go. Jay Dunaway, JK, or Rashad White, JK, 100%. Rolling JK, I'm going to ride this hot hand that we've had. I know it's a little bit of a tougher matchup than he's faced thus far this year, but still rolling with the JK Dobbins hype. Waddle, Kirk, or Elliott in flex. Ooh, Sean, this is a struggle. Jalen Waddle. You wouldn't have thought drafting Jalen Waddle you'd be in this situation. At least I didn't. I have a couple Jalen Waddle spots as well. Yeah, I can't start Christian Kirk right now. So I'd probably go Elliott. It sounds gross, and I don't love it. But, I mean, maybe he has the best chance to score a touchdown of this group. So that's probably where I'm going to go, Sean. It's really gross. Ultimately, I'd say Waddle has the highest upside, but let's be real. Skylar Thompson is not going to be a guy that's going to be spreading this football all over the place. So that's why I'd probably lean to Elliott as far as just a better chance of finding the end zone. Jay Kirk or Jennings. I'd go Jawan Jennings. I can't start Christian Kirk right now. I would take the shot on Jawan Jennings for sure. What's up, Tyler? How's it going? Thanks for stopping in there, Tyler. Always a pleasure. We also got Kelsey, Demarcus Robinson, Jennings, or Steele. That one would be Demarcus Robinson. Oh, man. Yeah. Maybe Travis Kelsey is interesting with no Isaiah Pacheco. Maybe they lean a little bit more to him in the red zone. So I'd probably go Kelsey. Give it 1 week. Jay, who else is your tight end that you're not starting Travis Kelsey there? That's my question. But if you don't believe in Travis Kelsey, then Demarcus Robinson would be the highest of that group after Travis Kelsey for me. Jared Goff, Jaden Daniels, or Geno Smith. I'm going Jared Goff. Should be a pretty good matchup against an Arizona team. A little bit of a sneaky shootout there, in my opinion. So I'll go Jared Goff. Jaden Daniels is intriguing, but we've kind of seen the up and down. Unless he gets in the end zone, he's not really a huge fantasy asset at the moment. So I'm going to go a little bit safer with Jared Goff. Oh, I get to pick two. Helps if you read, right, Jeremy? Goff and Daniels. That makes it easy for me. So that's where I'm going to go, Matt. Goff and Daniels. My apologies. Like I said, I'm getting over a cold, so if I forget to read, just let me know. Blake, Pollard, or Charbs? I'm going to go Charbonnet. Miami's a pretty weak run defense at the moment. They're not going to be able to really keep the ball out of Seattle's hands and with the issues at the quarterback position. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll roll Zach Charbonnet here for you, Blake. Bowers. That explains it. Yeah, I mean, Jay, it's ultimately up to you, but I would probably lean Kelsey. I'm going to give him a week still here. But if you really don't trust Travis Kelsey, which I get after the first 2 weeks, I'd go Demarcus Robinson there, but I think Kelsey has the highest upside. I mean, we could see, 2 touchdowns from Travis Kelsey today if they decide to go more passing than they have in the past with no Isaiah Pacheco back there in the backfield. PDX Viking on X, Higgins, Brian Thomas Jr., or Robinson. I'd go Robinson. there. Again, I'm leery to start T. Higgins. I'm not starting any Jaguars receivers against what has been a really good Bills defense and secondary here in the first few weeks. Anonymous Javonte or Mooney. I really like Darnell Mooney this week. So I would probably go with Mooney. I think Denver's just too hard to start any of those running backs at the moment. Honestly, any option outside of maybe Cortland Sutton or Dulcich, depending on how obliterated your tight end position is or how weak some of your rooms may be, especially if you're playing in certain dynasties. But like Javonte versus Mooney, like Javante's been really sadly disappointing. He's a guy that I really hoped we would see better from thus far. It's not going to be that much easier against Tampa Bay. It is a plus matchup for him. But we have seen the Chiefs lock down the top receiving option from almost every team that they've played thus far. It's only 2 weeks, but they've locked down the top option, and that will probably be Drake London. So I do think that Darnell Mooney, if the Falcons are to stay with the Chiefs, is going to be a big integral part of this offense. So I'm going to go with Darnell Mooney this week here for you, Anonymous. Full point PPR, DK Metcalf or DJ Moore for Winstone Gate on X would be, I'm going DK. I still don't hate DJ Moore yet, but he's not the best start at the moment here with the Bears offense struggling. Brian Avs fan, Michael Pittman, Deontay Johnson, or Quentin Johnson can only start one. I'm probably going DJ here. I'm still holding off on Quentin. He's had some pretty good usage in the first 2 weeks, but it's really touchdown dependent still for him. And I don't know if he gets there, especially if Justin Herbert doesn't play. And then Michael Pittman battling an injury, plus now Jalen Johnson is likely going to play with him for a majority of this game. So I'm going to go with Deontay Johnson. I think that Andy Dalton can kind of give a little bit of an uptick to this offense, at least enough for Deontay Johnson to be a viable fantasy asset. Let's see here. Brian Hickey on X, Zamir White, Steele, or Akers as running back 2 this week. I'd go Zamir White. It's a plus matchup. I know it's been a struggle. I was not the biggest Zamir White guy leading into this season, but this is a really good matchup against Carolina, so I'll go Zamir White here. We got JK or Brian Robinson. That would be for baseline. Did I get you that question already? I did not. Didn't show up this time. I'm going to go Brian Robinson there just by a split. Oh, I traded forward and for Pitts. I needed a tight end desperately. Would you start Worthy or Higgins now in flex? I would probably go Worthy here, Scuba Steve, over Higgins. Again, I'm still lenient on the Higgins injury as far as what we're going to get from him thus far in this first week back. So I'm going to hold off. Yeah, it is a tough one. Anonymous. I mean, Javonte, we've hoped for more. If they get a rushing touchdown, likely going to be him. But I do think Mooney is a big part of this passing attack this week. Michael Macy, Demarcus Robinson, or Pittman. I'm going to go Demarcus Robinson here. I've been shying away a little bit here from Michael Pittman today. Obviously, again, getting Jalen Johnson and then battling an injury leading into the game. And just the Colts offense has been kind of meh the past few weeks. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll roll Demarcus Robinson on that one. We got Johnny Utah on X, defense PPR, KC, Saints, Titans, Vikings, or Bengals. Oh boy. Let's see. Give me a second. Let me pull up my defense. Not often we get a defensive question pulled up here. I'll go KC there. Flex, we've got JSN, Dell, Shaquille, Naylor, Cooks, Juwan Jennings, or Javonte Williams. Huh. Also has DK. I'd probably. I would probably start Jackson still, JSN. Here, Johnny. But if you don't want to double dip on the two Seattle receivers, I would probably go Shakir here, would be my other option. Um, but I still kind of want JSN, I think, there for you, Johnny, Utah. Yeah, so Jordan Love's going to be inactive. That's just coming out now. So I would not be looking to start any Packers receivers. If you have any questions on them, yeah, I'll probably be leaning the other way. Also, looks like Herbert is expected to start, so that's a plus for Quentin Johnston and some other players. But still leery, I think, on the Quentin Johnston front there. Let's see anything else. Yeah, Love's going to be inactive. That's the early news right now. Inactives still are not out, but some of this is coming out now. Can you rank these three running backs? Steele, Ford, Michael. If that depends, what Jay will. I'm assuming it's Javante. So I'm going to say for this week, it's Jerome Ford, Javante Williams, Carson Steele. Would be the three in that order for me. Kobe, Brown, Ford, Deontay Johnson, Demarcus Robinson, flex. I'm gonna go Deontay Johnson here for you, Kobe. I do like I do like Jerome Ford a little bit. But the worrisome there, obviously, with Deontay Foreman potentially stealing some of the goal line work. So I'm probably, man, I'm torn. It's between Ford and Deontay Johnson for me, Kobe. I would probably go, I'm going to go Jerome Ford. I'm still going to believe a little bit still that we get a decent double digit week out of him. So I'm going to go Jerome Ford there. And welcome, Michael, Eddie, J.K. Dobbins, Jameson Williams, Swift, Ford, Cam Akers, PPR. One for running back and one for flex. So I'd probably go Dobbins and Jameson Williams. Now, Dobbins and Swift could be kind of interchangeable. Swift has a plus matchup this week. Ford's isn't bad either. But Swift has a ton of opportunity share. So I'd probably go either JK or DeAndre Swift at running back, leaning towards JK. And then Jameson Williams would be my flex right now. He's hot-handed. In the Lions Cardinals game should be a little bit of a shootout. So I'd go Jameson and JK there, Eddie. Puka and Pacheco. I feel you. I do. For sure. So like I said, I think Ford's probably my play there, Kobe. Brian Mans on X, play 3 running backs, Swift, Aaron Jones, Javante Williams, Amir White, week 3. Who do I leave out? I'd sit Javante there. There for you, Brian. You're welcome, Eddie. TR, PPR need 2 Rashad, Najee, Akers, or Foreman. I would go Najee and Rashard there. Z on X, pick 2, Jerome Ford, Zach Moss, JK, or Cam Akers. Dobbins and Ford for me. They're both Ford's a plus matchup. Moss against Washington, a little favorable. There's Z, but not crazy for me. Cam Akers, the jury's out. I have him as a top 24 running back just on pure volume based, but I still have Dobbins and Jerome Ford ranked ahead of him, as well as Zach Moss. So I'm going to go Dobbins and Ford. I know it's a little bit of a tough matchup for Dobbins, but I'm going to ride that hot hand here. Let's see here. Ricky Walsh, PPR, pick 3 wide receivers: Hill, Rice, Neighbors, and Jamison Williams. Need 1 running back: a White, Montgomery, and Steele. I'd still roll Tyreek Hill. I mean, we have to anticipate it's not a great day, but we still have to, is my opinion. So I'd probably go Hill, Rice, and Neighbors here. And probably start Montgomery at running back for you there, Ricky. You are welcome, Z. Matthew DeQuinn, Bowers or McBride at tight end. Ooh. So let me check something here. Give me 1 second. They have not yet. Okay. I'm probably gonna go McBride. He's ranked higher than Bowers still for me this week. Both have good matchups, but I'm going to lead towards McBride. Robert, Zamir or Akers? Definitely Zamir White there for me, Robert. Thoughts on Ingram rest of the season? So report he's unlikely to play week 4 as well. Yeah, I mean, might miss week 4. I'm not panicking just yet. Likely what I would do is I would bench him, obviously, if he's not playing. You can always add Brenton Strange if you wanted, if you really need a tight end, depending on who else you have here, Kobe. But I do think Ingram plays again. I don't think he's going to go to IR. Otherwise, I think they would have already put him there. Likely he may miss week 4, probably back in week 5 would be my guess, or 6. I'm not panicking yet. I think that he'll be fine once he's healthy and ready to roll. Yeah, so I'm not panicking. I think you'll be fine when the season really counts. As long as we can keep getting some wins here, Kobe. Once the home stretch comes, I think you'll be fine with Evan Ingram. El Padrino on X. Should I start Stroud or Carr? I'm going Derek Carr here. I know it sounds wild, but that's where I'm at. The facts are the facts. It's a good matchup against Philadelphia. I think that Stroud may struggle a little bit against the Flores-led Vikings defense. Dale on X, Shakir or Pittman. I'm going to go Shakir. Like I said, I'm saddened that we're here with Michael Pittman. I definitely thought that we would see a little bit more Michael Pittman love here, but sadly we haven't. The numbers aren't there yet, and I'll go with Khalil Shakir, who gives us a decent amount of upside as well as a safe floor there in what is a high-powered Bills offense that has been living life in the short areas of the field, and kind of, he's been their guy. I think he finds the end zone this week. Let's see here. Justin Pena, Cripps, Andrews, or Kelsey? Yeah, I'm gonna go Kelsey here. I think Kelsey could have a better day. I think with no Pacheco, they're going to be forced to use him a little bit more in the red zone. So yeah, I'm going to roll there with Travis Kelsey. Let's see here. All right, let's see. What are we at? 11:40. Yeah. Okay. So some of the inactives are coming in. Let's take a peek there. Well, some of these questions have slowed down. So Chicago, nothing crazy there. Keenan Allen as expected. Cleveland, nothing crazy here. Denver, Devon Vele is inactive. That's not ideal. He was a guy that I kind of had some hopes for this week. Wasn't starting him, but definitely was hoping to see him get involved a little bit. So we're going to be missing him. Let's see here. Green Bay, Jordan Love, like I mentioned a little bit ago, is out. John Mechie, Joe Mixon, Damian Pierce for Houston, all kind of expected. Indy, nothing surprising there. Chargers, Josh Palmer's inactive, no surprise there. The Vikings, kind of the same story there. Saints, Taysom Hill's inactive, kind of expected that. Eagles, same of much. Pittsburgh Steelers, Russell Wilson's inactive. Let's see here. Oh, the Bucks are going to be missing Antoine Winfield. Didn't know that he was injured. That's going to be a big. It's still a Broncos passing attack, so it would be normally a nice boost, but it's the Broncos, so let's be real. Nothing too crazy there. Eric C., what is up, sir? Dobbins or Swift, London, Jameson, or Shaheed? So I'm gonna go Dobbins here. I'm still riding it. Swift is really close though. I'm a couple spots apart in my rankings, so I wouldn't. It's not crazy to start DeAndre Swift. Let's just put it that way. I'm still riding the hot hand though. J.K. Dobbins. I mean, he's been electric the first few weeks. I know it's a little bit of a tougher matchup against Pittsburgh, but I still think that he could have himself a pretty good day. I think that they're going to kind of take a little bit off of Justin Herbert, even though he's starting. I do think they take a little bit off of him with that injury. So I still think they're going to go J.K. Dobbins, still enough to give us enough fantasy points there. And then as far as the receivers go, I'm going to shy away from London. We've seen the Chiefs lock down the top option from both the teams thus far this year. And London's obviously that they're in Atlanta, so I don't expect anything, if much of any, from Drake London. So I'm going to go with either Jameson or Shaheed here. I do lean to Shaheed. I think he has a better matchup than Jameson Williams, but they're both good matchups. So I will go Shaheed, though. I do think that we probably see another long touchdown from Rashid Shaheed today. All righty. Sandy up on X. Need 12 team, 2 points, tight end premium. Oh, wow. Sandy, that's a aggressive tight end premium. 6-point passing touchdowns. Need to start to Watson versus New York. Akers, Dobbins, Cooper, or Pitts. Man, that 2-point touchdown premium, really. So I'm guessing Sandy, I don't know if you're watching. If you could drop in it. So is one going to be your super flex spot? Is my guess. Because Watson against the Giants. I'm assuming you're talking about Deshaun. Watson there. We'll go on and we'll wait for you to answer that there, Sandy, just to verify. But Fuller, Kittle, Jerome Ford, T. Higgins, Jawan Jennings, DK Metcalf, which two from these four? I would go DK and Ford there for you, Fuller Kittle. Um, and then quarterback would be, I'm going to go Daniels over Richardson. Richardson has a tough matchup today against the Bears. Daniels is a little bit easier against the Cincinnati Bengals tomorrow night. Buda Bill, Kyron Williams, or J.K. Dobbins. This one I'm going to go Williams. Just the volume. Likely missing Cooper Kupp. Well, not likely, is missing Cooper Kupp and Puka Nakua. They're going to have to go to Kyron Williams. I know it's the 49ers, but I think that Kyron Williams will probably have a good amount in the passing game, which will help buoy kind of his fantasy points there. All righty. You're welcome, Eric. It's my pleasure. Hopefully it's right. Don't take me till like tomorrow, or at least till the game's end. Hopefully it's correct. Vibes, Jameson or Shaheed. I'm going to go Shaheed. Yeah, just told Eric the same thing. I think that they're good both plus matchups, but I think Shaheed against the Philadelphia secondary is a little bit better. Just the way that offense is clicking right now, I don't expect them to all of a sudden forget how to play football. And the Eagles' defense has been struggling kind of for like a half a season now. At the back half of the season, they weren't looking that great either. Jameson could have a big day against Arizona, but I just trust the team that's kind of really lighting up the scoreboards at the moment with a deep threat kind of explosive player. We've got Blue Force in here, Pickens or Pittman. I'd go Pickens there. Jaden Reed or Lad McConkey. I'd go Reed there. I'd go McConkey. I mean, you got Justin Herbert now, likely playing for most of the game, hopefully the entirety of the game, but at least for part of the game. So I'd probably go McConkey. Malik Willis still is just a complete avoid for me. Dewey's coming back in. It's Rashad, not Zamir White. I'd probably go Rashad White then. Man, I can't even type right now. Let's see here. Andrews or Kincaid? Andrews. Yeah. Sadly, I'm holding off on Kincaid despite the Bills' helmets in the background. That probably made you think I was going to say Kincaid. No. I'm just going to hold off for now. I think this is a decent spot for him potentially this week. But I'm still going to hold off. I think that they're just too run centric at the moment here for the Bills. I don't expect the Jaguars to be a huge problem, let's say. I think the Bills will be able to run the ball on them pretty easily. So I do think that Kincaid probably sees another dud type of week. So I would go Mark Andrews there. And what's really kind of a must win here for Baltimore. And it's hard to say at 0-2 at the NFL level that it's a must win here in week 3, but kind of feels like it for the Ravens. And what's a tough AFC. So I'm going to go Andrews there. We got Eric, which 3 out of Achane, Bijan, Godwin, and Devontae. And that's a tough choice. I'm going to go Achane, Bijan, and Godwin. I know it's tough to sit Devontae Adams, but Godwin's been lights out right now. Bijan's been solid. He'll be a good option for them against the Chiefs. And I think Devon Achane's in for another big day, much like we have seen in the past few seasons. Let's see here. Will you... All right. Doesn't look like anybody crazy is inactive from the new ads. So we're looking good there. If you haven't yet and you are still watching, make sure you check out ftnfantasy.com. Obviously promoted by this, as that is what we are on. This is the FTN Start Sit Show. But either way, make sure you head on over there. You can get rankings throughout the week as well. We always have those up by Tuesday. A good consensus from myself, Jeff Radcliffe, Chris Meany, Mike Randall, some of the best in the business, obviously. So definitely head on over there, check that out. You can also get in on our Discord and get questions. Oh, wow. Answers to your questions there a little bit sooner as well. Obviously, we have the show as well, which is free for all of you to come in and hang out with me for. But definitely head on over there. Subscribe if you want to. It's one of the better packages to have. You get a ton of stats, TVOA information, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It just goes on and on and on. Carr or Jaden Daniels. Yeah, I'm not too worried about like them starting Hurts. Let's put it that way. That's something that I just want to say. Like, yeah, I get like trying to play the chess match a little bit of like, oh, hey, like they may be starting the top quarterback this week. I get it. But that doesn't mean like you still want to put your best foot forward. And that doesn't mean like you're always just saying, hey, I'm going to swing with just an upside guy because they may have the best quarterback. Like, who knows? Derek Carr, Derek Carr's been lights out. So baseline, I'm going to say I'd likely go Derek Carr. It's close. Carr and Daniels are back to back for me in my rankings right now. But I'm aggressive on Derek Carr this week. I think that this is a good matchup for them at home against a struggling Philadelphia defense. So I'm going Derek Carr. Vibes, last one. Hey, you can ask more. I'm good. We got a little bit still. Who should I start at quarterback? Lamar, Baker, or Derek Carr? I'm still going Lamar here. The upside's a little bit too high there from Lamar Jackson. I think that it's a struggling Dallas secondary. It seems like a must-win game, especially if you're playing Andrews, kind of like a mini stack there if it's on the same roster. I do like Derek Carr would be my second option, but I'd probably still lean Lamar a little bit more as far as just a little bit of the upside with what is an equal floor as Derek Carr. Let's see here. Bench one, full PPR, Ayuk, Ford, or Shaheed. I'd probably go Ford. I know Ayuk's had a slow start to the season. Dizzy, but I mean they have no choice now with no Debo, no Kittle. Nah. Brandon Ayuk's got to be the guy at this point. They got to lean on him a little bit. Hopefully, we see a little bit more of what we saw last year from Brandon Ayuk in this one here today. And then Shaheed, good matchup. Kind of been talking about it all day. I think that this is a good spot for the Saints against the Eagles secondary. Raker Miles can flex to PPR, Akers, Swift, or Shakir. I'd probably go Swift and Shakir here, Riker. I know Cam Akers is a hot name. I have him as a top 24 running back, but I do think that Swift has a better matchup against Indianapolis, a better volume share. I think Derek Gumbawale is going to get used a lot. I think everybody's kind of crowned Cam Akers as the guy, but I think they'll still use a Gumbawale who saw some touches last week as well. So I think Akers and Ogunbowale split that a little bit more than Swift and Khalil Herbert. So I think Swift has a better chance to have a bigger day. So I'd go DeAndre Swift there. And then I like Khalil Shakir this week. I think it's a good matchup against the Jags. So I'm going to go ahead and ride Khalil Shakir there with DeAndre Swift. Let's see here. All right, fantasy football guru, Dak Prescott or Jaden Daniels. I'm going to go Daniels there. PPR tight end premium 0.75. Who starts, Kincaid or Diggs? I'd go Diggs. Matt, what's up? James Robinson or JSN? I don't think you mean James Robinson. I think you mean somebody else. But either way, it's going to be James or JSN. Lawrence or Levis for Riker. I'd go Trevor Lawrence. It's a tough matchup, but well, Levis gets Green Bay. Man, that's tougher than I would expect it to be at this point in time, right? Yeah, I have Trevor Lawrence still ranked ahead of Trevor or of Will Levis. So I'm probably gonna go Trevor Lawrence still. I don't think it's gonna be pretty, but I don't think it's gonna be pretty for either of them. So I'm probably gonna go Trevor there for you, Riker. Brian, that makes more sense. More sense now. But I'd still go JSN there over Brian Robinson. It's close, but I think there's a little bit more upside in JSN. We saw it last week. Seems like he's kind of becoming the secondary option in that passing attack. At least he was last week. So I think that continues here. Corey Radford on X, Travis Etienne, Brian Robinson, or Zamir White. I'd go Robinson here. Or I'd go. Where are they at? Should double check that. It seems like it's closer than I expected it to be. Yeah, it's still Etienne. Could be a tough matchup, but if there's any way to beat the Bills, it's going to be on the ground, and I think that Jacksonville will try to go ahead and do that with Travis Etienne. 4-point passing touchdowns, Geno, Leitch, Dak, or Goff. I'll go Goff there. Best wide receiver to start today, Shaheed or Waddle for Fantasy Guru. That would be Shaheed. Second flex Cam Akers or Amari Cooper. I'd go Cooper. Here for you, JC the third. Right Titus, McConkey, Hopkins, or Ridley. It'd be Ridley. Let's see here. JD, Moss, or London. I would go Moss. Like I said, I'm not expecting much from Drake London this week. David L, Kincaid, or Andrews. I'd go Andrews. I think it's going to be a little bit better of a matchup. I think that it's likely that Andrews is more involved than Kincaid. I think the Bills could get up pretty well here on Jacksonville, or at least still continue to just pound the rock with James Cook in this running game. So I'm still a little bit. I think this is another game that we see Kincaid kind of lay like not a full dud, but like not as much as what I think Andrews could get here against the Dallas Cowboys today. J.K. Dobbins or Zamir White. I'm going J.K. I think Zamir has a plus matchup, and I get it, Matt. Like, I get why you'd want to kind of go Zamir White. It makes sense. But I'm still riding that hot hand of J.K. Dobbins. Herbert's going to play, so that's a little bit of a plus on that front. So I'm going to go ahead, and I'm still going to ride the hot hand of J.K. Dobbins, even though it's a little bit of a tougher matchup than Zamir White has. Tyreek Hill, Calvin Ridley, or Jamison Williams for Corey. I'm still going Tyreek Hill here. I get the worry, but Tyreek's upside is just too good to not start. Let's see here. Ruby Road, Demarcus Robinson, or Higgins. I would go Robinson there. You're welcome, Matt. Hopefully it works out. And you're welcome, David. Hopefully, yes. Good luck to all. That is a good call, David. Good luck. Hopefully all of these work out. That would be great. If all of these work out, I'd be a very happy camper for all of you. Poker J, Naylor, Robinson, Pierce, or Schultz. I'd go Robinson here. Jay Boogie, Higgins, or Jawan Jennings. I would probably roll Higgins there for you, Jay Boogie. It's close, but I don't love playing T. Higgins coming off that injury. But when you're talking Jawan Jennings, I know he's going to be a secondary receiver at this point, but I'm going to still ride Higgins. Baker Mayfield or Purdy. I'm going to go Mayfield here for Kit Keller on X. Full point PPR, Rashee Rice or Devontae Smith. I'm going to go Rashee Rice. PPR flex, Terry McLaurin, Jalen Waddle, or Zach Moss. I'll go Moss in that group there. Quarterback, Fields or Caleb Williams. I would go Fields. Who to flex? Rashad White against Denver, Zamir White, or Demarcus Robinson. I would go Rashad White for you there. Fantasy football on X. Jake Sandquist, Cam Akers, or Rashad White. I would go Rashad White there. Andy Robinson or Ridley. I would go Ridley. Megan Moore on X. Hertz or Carr. Moss or Jacobs. I would go Hertz and Jacobs would be my play there, Megan. I do like Carr today, but still not as much as Jalen Hurts. I think just the tush push, etc. Is a lot still. Jalen Hurts is still a top 2 option. Derek Carr, like I said, I'm aggressive on him. But I still not enough to be ahead of Jalen Hurts. He could outscore him. It could happen, but we've seen it. But I still go Hurts. And then Moss or Jacobs, I'm going Jacobs. I think that he still has a good day today. Moss is decent, but not anything that I'm writing home about. Matthew Carr or Daniels full PPR. I'm going Derek Carr here for you, Matthew. I don't remember. I may have answered it. I don't know. It all blurs together at this point in time. But I'll go Derek Carr over Jaden Daniels there for you, Matthew. Let's see here. Let's see what else we can find here. We got Michael Pittman, JSN, or Quentin Johnston. I would go JSN there. Football ex-champ Ford Singletary or Brian Thomas. I would go Ford there. Flex spot PPR, Demarcus Robinson, Jerome Ford, or Zach Moss. I would go Ford there for you, Sammy Evans. AJ Negree, Zach Moss, or Madison. I would go Moss. Point 0.5, pick one, Javonte Williams, Amari Cooper for Gian. I would go Cooper there. Last quarterback question. It's all right, Matthew. You can keep asking them. I'm good. We got some time still. I'm going to go with Daniels here. Oh, Goff or Geno. Yeah, I'd still go Daniels over those guys. I think the rushing upside is just too good there for Jaden Daniels. So, yeah, I'm going to go Jaden Daniels over Geno and Goff. Grant Reed, Stafford, or Fields? I'd go Fields here. He hasn't had those record-breaking weeks that we've seen in the past from Justin Fields in the first couple weeks. But I think that today, I think he'll just be better than Stafford. I think Stafford's going to struggle a little bit without all of his weapons. We've seen him, even with his weapons, not be a super fantasy viable guy. So I'm going to go with Fields there. Michael, Zamir White, or J.K. Dobbins? I'm going to go J.K. there. KJ, who starts? Zamir White, Deontay Johnson, Sakir, or Judy? I would go White there. Josh, Derek Carr, Anthony Richardson. I would go Carr. I'd play Fields over Minshew. Grant, you'll be all right. Justin Fields is going to be fine. I need 2 wide receivers, advice, 1 PPR, Scary Terry, Jalen Waddle, or Lad McConkey. I would probably go Terry and Lad McConkey here. Nicker, I think that's probably the play. Jalen Waddle is a little bit of a struggle, I think, against Seattle, and obviously not having Tua behind quarterback. Well, oh my God. Without having Tua quarterbacking the team. And then Terry McLaurin, I know it's been a down few weeks, but I expect that to kind of right its way. Lad McConkey's a little bit of a boost with Justin Herbert playing, so I'd probably go that route. There. Would you add Gesicki and start him over Freiermuth? No. You're welcome, Grant. And then Geno or Goff would be Goff, baseline junkies. David Dombrowski traded away Evans and Dobbins for Chase and Brian Robinson. How good of a trade is it? I think it's a good trade. I mean, Jamar Chase is a good buy low at the moment. I think that he can bounce back for sure, David. And then Robinson is a solid player that I think is going to be giving you numbers that JK kind of has been-ish, somewhere in that realm at least, likely more consistently. Like, we're still waiting for it just to fall off on J.K. Dobbins, which it may, coming off of that Achilles injury. So if that happens, then you're going to have 2 assets who are startable all year. And obviously, you know, Mike Evans is a up and down kind of touchdown dependent for huge fantasy viability. And with Chris Godwin's emergence and Baker kind of leaning towards Godwin a little more in what's been one week a Godwin week, the other was a Mike Evans and a Godwin week. So could see that still play out a little bit, but I do think that Chase and Robinson that's a good trade, I would say, for you. Akers, Swift, Zamir, Jennings, pick 2. Swift and Zamir White here for you, Grant. I think Swift's in a good spot against Indy. Zamir has the prime Carolina matchup, so I'd take those 2 there for you, Grant. Robert, tight end waiver pickup. I'm considering one of these guys, Strange, Ertz, or Jonnu. I'd go with Ertz or Strange. Strange is a short-term option, so it really depends on what your need is, Robert. So if this is like this week, next week, like Brenton Strange is probably your guy. If you want somebody who's maybe a little more viable all season, it would probably be Zach Ertz would be my play. We've got Dave here on X. Start Moss or Zamir White and running back 2. That'd be Zamir White for me. Do I start someone like McConkey, Myers, or Johnson over Singletary, McLaurin, or Cooper? I'd start McConkey over Singletary. That would probably be my play. I'd play McConkey over Singletary, but I'd play McLaurin and Cooper. David. Yeah. Kittle. Yeah, I'd probably. I mean, Bretton Strange is in a good spot. The Bills have been pretty weak to tight ends. I think he could have a decent week this week. Zach Ertz isn't bad either, though. A decent spot against Cincinnati. So I'd probably go Bretton Strange. I'd go Zach Ertz. Go Zach Ertz. He's been pretty involved in that offense. He has a good spot this week against Cincinnati. I'm not sure. Who do they play? Let me check real quick. Oh, yeah. And then they have the Cardinals next week. So, yeah, I'd go Zach Ertz there, Robert. Okay, so Sandy does say yes. So the one is super flex. So she could play Watson and quarterback 2. I'd probably go Watson and Pitts with the 2-point touchdown or the 2-point. With the 2-point premium there on the passing, I would probably go Watson and Pitts there. James Sanders, Carr, Daniels. I would go Carr there. Connor, Ridley, Pickens, Brian Robinson. Any other week, I would go Connor by a landslide, but he's going up against the Lions too this week, so kind of worried. I wouldn't be worried, David. I'd go James Conner. He'll be all right. He's pretty matchup proof, to be honest. I'd go James Conner all day. Let's see here. Any of those guys over DJ Moore? No. I'd probably still ride DJ Moore. I know it's been a rough go so far. The only one would maybe be Brian Robinson, David, if you're really worried about DJ Moore, but I think he'll be okay this week. I think we see him get a little bit more right on track against a weaker Indy secondary. Whew. Travis, Higgins, Shaheed, or Singletary? Shaheed would be my play here. How's it going, Nicker? Hopefully those work out. If they don't, then we can't shout out. No. We gotta make sure that the calls come in, right? Baker, Carr, Chestnut, Checkers. Carr. I have Carr. I'm aggressive on him, and it may bite me in the face this week, but I really like Derek Carr this week. I think that he's in a good spot against the Philadelphia Eagles this week at home. Weak secondary. I do like Baker, obviously, but I think that Derek Carr could have another huge week. Ended up starting Devontae over Dobbins. I don't even remember. I mean, I think Dobbins outproduced Devontae, but I get it. I understand. It's a tough game, David. I mean, if that's you more so in clinging that you want to start someone over DJ Moore, then do Brian Robinson. Go with your gut. If your gut's telling you Brian Robinson's going to have a better day, do it. Ultimately, you're making the choice there, and we see it. We're playing a game of predicting the future, which is very hard, in case you're wondering. And a lot of us, at least I know myself, I do projections. I have a game script that I anticipate to happen. If that goes sideways, then everything doesn't work out. I may sit here and say, hey, I think the Eagles and the Saints are going to be a shootout. I think Derek Carr is going to light it up, and I think Jalen Hurts is going to light it up. But then when it turns into a defensive struggle with 3 interceptions on either side, it doesn't work out. So just trying to mitigate the losses and make it easy for all of us is what we're trying to do here. So that's where, the old adage of start your studs comes from, because more times than not, those do work out. But I get it. DJ Moore's been struggling, and the body language hasn't even been that great on the sidelines from him either. So I do think it's a good matchup for him this week. But I get wanting to start one of these other players. To me, I would probably go Brian Robinson if I was making that move. Hey, I appreciate that. Good luck. Much love as well. Hopefully it all works out for all of us. Me as well. I have a plethora of 0-2 teams out there in some of these dynasty leagues that just some that I look at and I go, how's this team 0-2? But it's been a slow start for a lot of those elite type of options. So hopefully we see some of those elite players kind of return to what we expected them to be this year and here in week 3, and we get everything back on track. 11B ZD, Brock Purdy, or Sam Darnold. I would go Darnold here. Brock Purdy, Justin Herbert for Ben Wickersman would be Purdy. Harvey, Tank Dell, JSN, or McLaurin. I would go JSN. Can start one in full PPR. I'm leaning Worthy, but curious what the public thinks. Jalen Waddle, Xavier Worthy, Reed. I'd go Worthy as well there. We got Javonte or Samaje Perine. I'd go Javonte here. I'm holding off on the backfield there in Kansas City until we get a clearer picture there. We got Brandy, Dak, Goff, or Carr. Derek Carr. been pretty vocal this far on the stream. Uh, yeah, I'm in on Derek Carr this week, so I will go Derek Carr there. There's not many quarterbacks I'd start over Derek Carr this week. Oh, excuse me. Oh, getting over a cold, if you can't tell. Definitely feeling it here at an hour and a half. Let's see if we can get a couple more in here before we get out of here. Like I said, I'm feeling it right now. Uh Higgins, Ford, Akers, Worthy, sit one. Um, I'd sit Higgins here. All right, Nicker, flex one PPR, JSN or Waddle, JSN for you there, Nicker. Tank Dell, JK Dobbins for release the Kraken. On X, I would go JK there. Calvin Ridley or Drake London, I would go Ridley. Jeff Nickel here. Chase, Ayuk, Jameson, Williams, McLaurin, Watson, JSN. I'm currently starting Chase, Ayuk, and Williams. I want to get JSN in my lineup, but I don't think I can start him in front of these three. I'd start JSN over Williams. I think he has a better target share. I think that he has a better chance of. I mean, it's probably going to be a pretty run-heavy game. I don't know if Miami can keep up with Seattle. So I guess that would be the outside of it. I have Ford as my running back 2, but I have Montgomery as my flex. Should I switch him with Demarcus Robinson? No, I would play David Montgomery for sure. Alrighty. Well, that's going to wrap it up. Like I said, I'm getting over like 100+ degree fever yesterday that I didn't leave my room. So I am feeling it here at an hour and a half. So I am going to cut out of here. I appreciate everybody who stopped by. Appreciate everybody who asked questions. Good luck to everybody. Hopefully most of those questions and answers come to fruition and we all get some wins out there, especially for the teams that really, really need them. And thank you again. And I will be back again next week, as always. And for sure, if you want to head on over to X, it's right there. It's Pope's FFH. If you want to drop a question between now and kickoff, I will try to get to it. Before we hop out of here, we got Ray dropping this in here. T. Higgins or Demarcus Robinson? I'd go Demarcus Robinson for sure. But yeah, thank you for everybody for stopping in. As Vibes would say, good luck to everyone. Hopefully we can manage to get some good wins in here, and hopefully most of these do work out or shoot for it. That's what my goal is here every Sunday, to help you guys get those wins in there. And if you have questions, like I said, drop them on my X at Popes FFH. I will try to get to them before kickoff. I can't guarantee it. I'm going to go take some medicine and get my lineup squared away here as we head into week 3 and enjoy football for this week, and catch you guys next week. Same time, same place.